Hello, Cami from Tidbits. I'm here tonight on my tiny little back patio and on a beautiful summer evening because I want to talk to you about container herb gardening and share some tips for success. So my husband tends to think it's very amusing whenever I say, hey, let's grow something. But I think we've learned from experience that my thumbs are more black than green. But in my defense, I do have 4 children whom I feed and water very well. But something sparked in me this summer, and I am bound and determined to keep our herbs alive and growing all summer long. It has been so fun to involve the kids, to watch them grow, and to enjoy the clippings in our kitchen. So I found that I really enjoy container herb gardening. Taking care of them is not overwhelming. The weeds are pretty much non-existent or minimal. I keep them close to the kitchen where I will remember to take care of them. And you don't need a huge area in order to grow something. And it's kind of a miracle around here. It's been 3 weeks and these are still alive and well. So like I mentioned before, I am no pro at gardening. So what I'm about to share with you is not necessarily based on years of experience, but I did do hours and hours of research beforehand to learn how to be successful at growing and harvesting herbs. We did not start these from seed. We just picked up plants from the marketplace, and these ivory pots that you see here I found just sitting outside of Smith's Marketplace, so if you have one of those near you, that's where you can find them. After selecting your pot or container, you'll want to ensure good drainage. If necessary, drill a few holes at the bottom and fill the bottom with rocks. Next up, fill your pot almost full of fertilized organic soil. This will give your plants a great start and the best chance for success. Prepare a place for your plants by digging a spot a few inches deep. Remove your plant from the container and break up the roots just a little bit. Place your plant into the hole and gently cover with more soil. Repeat the process for any additional plants you will be placing inside the same container, but be careful not to overcrowd. After they are planted, go ahead and give your herbs a good drink. So there you have it. That's all it takes to get your herbs planted and started. And now I want to share 3 main tips for continued growth and success. So tip number 1, don't overwater. Generally speaking, herbs don't like to be too wet. In all the sources that I came across, it said to wait till the soil was dry to the touch and then water it. The problem we get if they get too wet is that the roots start to rot, which is another reason why we want really good drainage in the first place. Tip number 2, full sun. Herbs seem to love the sunshine. And from everything that I've read, they need about 6 to 10 hours of sunshine. So our patio is facing the west, which means they're a little shaded in the morning, but by afternoon and into the evening, they're getting full sun, and that seems to be serving them well. Tip number 3, trim and harvest frequently. Herbs love a good haircut. Everywhere I've read, it said that the more you prune and harvest, the more the plant will produce for you, and I've seen that happen. Every time I take a few clippings off of this parsley, it gives me another boost of growth. Speaking of harvest, I'm not going into harvesting because, well, I'm still learning. If all goes well, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to follow this up later in the season with full plants and give you ideas for using your herbs in the kitchen. What I have clipped and harvested up to this point, I've only done after spending some time online and on YouTube to learn how each herb likes to be clipped and harvested. They're all kind of different, so you really have to do your research, because if you do clip them in the wrong spot, you may stop the progress and growth. So be really careful before you harvest your herbs. Okay, so to wrap things up here, I'm going to show you the 6 different varieties of herbs that we planted and tell you a little bit about them. So over here I have planted some oregano, and then we have some curly top parsley. This stuff has grown pretty fast. I've been able to take several clippings from this. And then up here we got basil, which is my personal favorite. I believe I need to let this get a little bit taller before I start trimming off the top. Okay, and then we've planted 2 plants of lavender in this pot, and lavender actually gets huge, so we knew that this would be a potential plant that we would transplant into our flower beds to give it more room. And then cilantro I've used a lot of already for salsas and other recipes in the kitchen. It's delicious and seems to be growing pretty good. And then up here we have rosemary, and this is another one. These plants will get huge, but we decided to start them in this pot and then plan to transport them as well eventually. So I would love to know in the comments below if you've ever tried container herb gardening, and if you're a pro and have some tips for me, I would absolutely love to hear. My husband would often speak of the beautiful and plentiful herb garden that his mother would grow, and all I can say is baby steps, dear. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've learned a few things, and please follow me along for more inspiration for do-it-yourself living. Thanks for watching.